Okay, so it's story time. I would have loved to film this on my couch, but your homegirl spilled pickle juice on my beautiful red couch cover. So I can't record on there until I go get that dry clean, because now everything smells like pickles. So you'll get all background to that. I'm gonna try to make this as quick and entertaining as possible. To laugh, to keep from crying. No, I'm just playing. This is a serious matter, but at this point, I'm able to look back on it and laugh. So let me just get right into it. I'm telling this story in an effort to further drive home my point about my last video, which is the small, subtle things that can lead to physical abuse, that can lead to domestic violence. So, for any of my UIUC people that can identify this person, well, I'm not gonna say that because they didn't go to UIUC. They went and they worked in Champaign, but so don't get, because we done had this float around, not with me, but the idea of abuse with other people at my campus, or with my mutuals. So let's start. So junior year, fall semester, junior year, I had just got done with a situationship over the summer that I was just so engulfed with. I was so sad to see it go. It was just very good vibes. And I was too young and I didn't know what I was doing with that man. Wish I had a second chance. Anyway, so I was heartbroken coming back to school, on the rebound. So I meet this young man. We're going to call him E. So I meet this young man, E, at a bar sometime October, right? For anybody that doesn't know, so I was a junior. That was 2013. So this is October 2013. I meet this young man, E. He cute enough. He seemed kind of cool. Buy me a drink at the bar. All this other stuff. So things between me and E happened kind of fast. So he was very into me. And I think when you're coming off the rebound of like having your heart broken, it just feels good to be wanted, to have somebody like praise you and want to be around you and think you like the best thing ever. So yeah, I like the fact that he was so into me. And it started off with just, a cute couple dates. He was from Chicago, living in Champaign, working. I'm not going to say where he worked, at the mall. With plans, because I was still a college girl, he still had plans to eventually go back to school, blah, blah, blah. So I want to say all of this happened, just as a frame of reference, across a 3-month span of time. We hadn't been dating that long, or dealing with each other for that matter. So we went out on a couple dates. It was cute. First red flag. The thing about that period of time is I couldn't even tell you what me and him argued about. But I know that I'm not a person that gets inappropriate when I fight with people. I keep it cute. I don't hit below the belt. I don't say wild things. That's just not me. So the first red flag happened. We were arguing about something. I was taking him to work. Ladies, beware of men who have car problems when y'all start talking. And that's no shade, because I know sometimes things that happen. But I don't know. I feel like all the men I done ever dealt with that had car problems had other problems too. An abundance of them. So that might be my own personal issue. But beware of men when you meet them and they got car problems. And not just some like my car in the shop, I'm finna go get it tomorrow or a week from today because I'm getting work done on it. I'm talking about men that you just been dealing with and they claim that it was just something maybe minor wrong with their car and they never have it. So you always end up driving their asses around. So yeah, something was wrong with his car. And again, other little things. Before I finish this, the scenario. Other little things about him. His living situation wasn't ideal. Like, it's not like in Champaign, as an adult, it's easy to get an apartment. Like, I guess unless you got bad credit, I don't know. But it's fairly easy. They're fairly cheap. he ended up in a situation where he was living in a house with somebody, and I don't even feel like because he didn't like me to go there. I think I only went there once, because he didn't like living there. But yeah, had like a white roommate like in his house, and it kind of looked like the trap house. I don't know. This is me pulling scraps out of my memory bank. So again, another red flag. A man who living situation ain't where he wanted to be or where he need to be. Because then that's how the homosexuals end up in your space, okay? So, back to what I was saying. So, one day I was taking him to work, and we got into it about something. And when I got ready to let him out of my car, or when he got out the car, he slammed my door so hard, I thought the window was going to break. Like, I've seen slam doors before. I was caught off guard by how hard he slammed that door, especially on a car that wasn't his. Like, you better respect my car. The hell? So, that was red flag number one. We moved on from that. I think I definitely brought it to his attention. Like, yeah, you was tweaking earlier. You don't need to slam my car door like that. You know, I wasn't gonna break it. The minimizing, right? No, I ain't even close it that hard. That window wasn't gonna break. You know, okay. What else started to transpire? There was something else that was very weird about his situation. Like, he had a child was it his child's mother? Or it was no. So it wasn't his child's mother he had the issue with. It was his girlfriend that he had before dating me. Can't remember how long they had been separated, but when men talk about their relationships and they make it seem like they were never in the wrong, or they can't take any accountability on things that they could have done better, that's something else to pay attention to. Because I really remember like him just saying, I think that's what happened. So he used to live with the girl. That's how, and then they broke up, and it must have been her house, or like, you know, I think it was a situation where he was struggling to get his own. So her name was the one on the lease, and then they broke up. And so he the one that had to take his shit and get the walking. So that's how he ended up in the trap house with the white boy. So yeah, he would tell me about like how she was so bogus, and how, you know, he had furnished the whole place and he didn't have none of the stuff that he bought in that relationship. You know, again, trying to gain sympathy from me, and just making it seem like, you know, I wasn't always a bum, or I'm not a bum, but like this is how I end up in this situation. And then, like I said, the situation with his kid was a little weird, because I don't really remember, but it was something about that didn't sit right with me either. Like I think maybe the child lived out of state or something, so he barely had contact with his kid. So moving on, I go to study abroad that December. And it was a great opportunity. I went to Cape Town, South Africa for 2 weeks. I was so excited to go. Again, we argued about something. Now, mind you, I'm at an African strip club in Cape Town, chilling with the homies, with my classmates. And we must have been texting about something, and it went left. And I feel like he was accusing me of something, from what I remember, because I remember feeling like, where is this coming from? Why is he acting like this? So my dumbass called, and knowing while I was over there, I was only supposed to be texting people. I couldn't afford them phone calls. Like, it was probably an extra $50 on my daddy phone bill, because my goofy self, I'm outside trying to talk to this man while I'm supposed to be in Africa having the time of my life. So that's another red flag, is if a man cannot put whatever his issues are on hold for the sake of you having a good time that you only get once in a lifetime. Again, that was not the time to be arguing with me. I don't care what his issue was. So that's something else. Like somebody that cannot initiate, because the fight wasn't over nothing. It wasn't over nothing. He picked the fight while I was out having a great time. And here I am crying on the phone trying to get him to not be upset. Ooh, 28-year-old me really needed to have a talk with 20-year-old me. So again, that was another issue that I had. Like, I'm out here trying to like live my best life and you picking fights. So moving on, I get back. At this point, he had got his own place. Cute little place. Okay, you moving up. Great. Because my roommates was tired of him. Like, he was damn near living with me. Like, we became inseparable. Like, when you saw him, you saw me. And I wasn't really... This is when I gained a chunk of weight during this period of time. Just eating, laying up with him. Something else that stands out to me about that situation is a certain point in the relationship... I became very uneasy about having sex with him. I don't know if it grew to a point where I realized like I was just kind of messing with him. I was trying to take, that's something else. I was trying to take things slow, knowing that I was on the rebound. Like, I was really just trying to kick it and talk. And I felt like he pressured me to put a label on things. Like, he wanted to be able to say like we was in a relationship, and here I am, trying to make things work and to acknowledge, he's here, he wants you, like, let's just go with it. So went ahead and said like, okay, we're boyfriend and girlfriend. Again, we hadn't been dealing with each other that long. So I went ahead and went for it. But something that stands out to me is at a certain point, having sex with him made me uneasy. Like, I didn't really want to do it. I had like a low sex drive with him, which was the complete opposite from the guy I was dealing with over the summer. I was always ready to get it in when it came to him. But yeah, at a certain point, like, my sex drive like lowered. I just became uneasy. Like, I would avoid it. And at a certain point, he picked up that I was avoiding it. And then made me feel bad about the fact that I wasn't giving him none. Or I wasn't, he didn't feel desired because I would always try to get around having sex at a certain point. So that's just something else I want to mention. So when your body will respond. Somebody you supposed to be with, you gonna want to hunch. Okay? You ain't gonna be wanting to be ducking and dodging them. So once you start avoiding somebody from sex, that means it's time to get up out that boo. You don't deserve that. Life's too short. So I get back from Cape Town. This was right before Christmas. Right before Christmas. I left out a part. Okay, I'm gonna come back. Sorry, y'all. This is why I write stuff down. So we met in October. By November, Thanksgiving, we came home to Chicago. Dropped him off at his mama's house. He came past my house, met my parents. Did he have dinner? I don't think he had dinner with us. I think he drive-by'd me. And I met his mom briefly, but I don't remember much about that. But this is important to know for later on. So that was Thanksgiving. Here comes Christmas. I get back. We have been talking about Christmas gifts, right? This is another tactic, ladies. When a man sit there and tell you that anybody ever done nothing nice for him, he's trying to rev you up to prove yourself. Like, oh, I'm gonna do better than all his old bitches. But that ain't nothing but manipulation. Because some of these men, they be having nice stuff done for them and they want to disregard it, or, what they want to be unappreciative, whatever you want to call it. But because I didn't know that back then, I was so excited to make his Christmas one of the best ever. Now, keep in mind, was I working? I was working a little bit. I wasn't working like that. I had a credit card that my dad put in my name under his for emergencies. And then it got to a point where, like, sometimes I would buy little stuff here and there and then, like, be like, okay, I'm going to give you the money for it. And it was okay. So this man done convinced me that he ain't never had no nice Christmas. So I've been plotting what gifts I'm going to give him. I'm going to show out. We had discussed, like, I think it was like some pearl earrings that I wanted at this jewelry store in the mall. He said he had a plug and he was gone. You know, I'm going to get them for you, blah, blah. So I get back to school before Christmas break, or we might have let out. I can't really remember. Spend some time with him. Brought him some stuff back from Cape Town. And gave him his gift. He got some Jordans. I think I bought him some Ralph Lauren stuff, a Bulls hat. He got his gifts probably was around $500. And you want to know how I know? It's because my silly self put them on that credit card. Okay, so I had to pay it off, and my daddy hung that $500 all over my head for like a year until I finally paid him and called it a day because I was tired. So yeah, but yet my earrings were non-existent. So he must have told me, like, maybe they was getting ready to have a sale. He fed me some bullshit about why he didn't have them earrings and that I would be getting them at a later time. So, here's the finale. I'm taking him to work. Now, I had intentions on, from what I recall, I had intentions on leaving Champaign to come back to Chicago for whatever reason. For Christmas, for the weekend, I don't remember. So I took him to work, but somehow, some way, on our way to his job, we argued. Couldn't tell you what it was about. But by that point, I started to come to my senses. I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I just don't. Like, this just doesn't, it's not it. I hate it here. So I was ready to end shit in that car that day. And I was like, you know, that's fine. I'll get my, because by that point I had been staying at his place. I'm like, I'll go get my stuff. You can leave me your keys. So he get out. I'm headed back to his crib. And then all of a sudden he called me like, no, I don't trust you going to my crib by yourself. Guess he thought I was going to be in there fucking stuff up. So whatever. I go back. I get him. We get to his crib. I got like a laundry basket and I'm putting my stuff in it, right? And he must have been making little smart remarks. I must have made one back. Okay, we back. So in the time that I've been recording, I've never had my camera, like I had a whole second half of this video and I went to go edit and I saw that it was gone. So at some point, the video just cut out and continued to make it look like it was still going because I would have noticed the video cutting off as I was recording. So that's why this is now in two halves, because I had to come back and re-record the last half of this video. But it's nice outside. It's the last little bit of weather we're going to get. And I like where it cut off because that was the cliffhanger, okay? So let me finish where I was at and get y'all on y'all way. So where was I? I was talking about, we got back to his apartment. I was packing up my shit. He was making little comments. I made a comment back. So disclaimer, I am not a disrespectful fighter. I don't hit below the belt. Even when I get angry, I'm not going to sit here and talk about your mama, your kid, your dick size. I'm just not that girl. I'm not going to go there. So I'm saying that to say that the reaction that I got from him based on whatever it was I said, you would have thought I called his mama a crackhead or something. But I know I didn't. I didn't say nothing in that family. So again, reaction was unwarranted. So I said something and baby, the wall that I was next to, that mug, boom, like, put, like, right past my motherfucking head, dog. Like, I was like, oh, you crazy. And after that, it's like a switch went off. Like, he was already a little on edge the way he was talking to me, but shit really went left. So then he starts throwing my shit out in the hallway, like out the door. Like, all I see is my shit flying. And weirdly enough, I found some sort of humor in what was happening, just because I just couldn't believe that I was in that situation. Number one. Number two, like, I was like laughing at myself for doubting myself. I knew something was off with that nigga. I knew it. And I was trying to wait around for the other shoe to drop, and baby, the shoe flew, okay? Because all my shit was flying out that door. And then not only was he throwing my stuff, then that's when, like, the real verbal abuse started. I was all types of bitches and hoes and any other derogatory word that man could think of. I was that day. So, yeah, I just politely continued to get my stuff. And, you know, as I was walking out, I saw them Jordans that I bought him sitting on that floor. And everything in me is still mad that I did not pick them up and take them with me. Just as, like, I don't even know how he would have reacted. My bun is loose. But I kick myself in the ass because I ain't no Indian giver. Because we talked about this on this channel before. But I should have Indian gave that day. Okay, all that shit should have went back with me. But clearly he needed it more than I did. So I get my stuff. I get in the car. And the thing with crazy men is when there's a blow up and you think like, and you finally see that mask come off and them really be who they truly are, it doesn't stop there. It never stops there. I have another story on here about my brush with crazy. If you haven't watched that one, go watch that one. Same scenario. It doesn't stop there. So I'm on my way to Chicago. I don't know if I had got on the phone to tell my mama or anybody else what was going on, but my phone starts blowing up with text messages. And they're from him. And when I tell you those are the most derogatory text messages I've ever received, it went from me being bitches and hoes to like colorism. Because he was very fair-skinned. You know, like, fair-skinned men seem to like me. But in this case, now you're going to try to use it against me. So, I was all types of burnt black bitches. Like, I think I've repressed a lot of what I read because I didn't want that to become any type of insecurity on my behalf. Like, it took me a very long time to be comfortable being a dark-skinned woman and to embrace my beauty. So I was not like, I think my brain was like, we ain't even going there. But yeah, it was a lot of that. It was just a lot of demeaning my character. I think he said he cheated on me when I was in Cape Town. It was just very bad. And it was pages, y'all. It was pages. It wasn't just one message. Like, they just kept coming in. And I think all I did was respond like, you need help. You need help. And I left it at that. At a certain point, I stopped engaging because I'm like, if I continue to engage, he's going to continue to have more shit to say. So, I get home, and so he had one person who I would consider to have his best interest in mind. This man was a pastor. He didn't go to church. I think maybe he used to go to church. I don't know how he met this man, but this man was a pastor. He lived in Champaign with his family. Very nice family. Went over their house once, met them, had dinner, all this other great stuff. And I text him because at this point, I feel like I'm concerned, and I feel like the people who are closest to him really need to help him. So I text this man and I tell him, you know, what he did. I'm like, yeah, he really spazzed on me. He sent me some very inappropriate messages. I don't have any intentions on speaking with him, but I think considering like you're close to him, that you should probably get him some help. Y'all, when I tell you, this man texted me back and asked me, did he hit you? The fact that that was what he asked me stamped everything that I knew. Because if I'm describing aggressive behavior and you immediately jump to the fact that like he could have hit me, or you believe he could have hit me, that tells me that you know what he's capable of. So I have a feeling that pastor, he knew that he was unhinged. He knew whether he has a past of putting his hands on women or just his indication at aggressive behavior was enough. I think I'm pretty sure I replied like, no, he didn't hit me, but it definitely could have, it was on its way there. So that was one thing. Another thing, and that's why I feel like, men, y'all have to do more to hold y'all brothers accountable. Like the fact that you even know a man is capable of doing something like that, and maybe you haven't offered to help him get help, or you don't really know what to do, but it's anger management for stuff like that. He needs therapy. Like y'all guys who be putting their hands on women, they need therapy. I don't know how much more clean I can make that. So that was one thing. Then mamas, they be knowing. But I had to get on my mama because she was holding out. So after I told my mom what happened, she was like, you know, when I met him, there was something about him that just didn't sit right with me. And I didn't want to tell you because, you know, you got to make your own choices. I didn't want to put a dark cloud over your experience. And I'm like, baby, I need that mother's intuition. You could have put me on game because, you know what, had my mom told me that she felt that way, it would have confirmed and validated what I was already feeling deep down, you know. And I think sometimes, like, when you have a close relationship with your mama, you look for that from them. You know, like, I don't care. I'm at a place in life where as long as my mama and my therapist tell me it's okay, that's the only validation I need. And sometimes I'm going to still do what I want to do without it. But those are the two people that I look to. So when it came to my mom, had she told me that, it would have been like, all right, you're not tweaking. You really do believe that there is something off about this situation and this person. So I told her, I was like, don't hold back on information like that. If I bring somebody home and now, you know, because sometimes they be the ancestors. They be, you know, God let you know that this person don't belong in y'all space. And sometimes your mama praying strength is a little stronger than yours because she been on this earth a little longer. So I told her, don't ever hold back information like that again. So what's crazy is after all that happened, I felt very relieved, very free, very like just the shackles had been broken, you know. And it's not that I was required to stay in that relationship even when some of them feelings came up for me. It's just, I think when you are in a vulnerable place like I was when I met him, and you know, yes, I had good self-esteem, but I was also in a position where I wanted to be in a relationship. You know, I wanted to be loved. And you know, this whole thing, like those who like you, like at that point, he liked me and he was like showing up, you know? And so I was trying to embrace that. But ever since that situation, I don't let the fact that somebody likes me or they treat me well be the determining factor on if I should be in a relationship with them. Because they have to sit right with me, regardless of what that looks like, whether that be attraction, whether that be chemistry. It has to be good on my end too. And it's not to say it was all bad, but it started going bad shortly after I met Shorty. So I was in that situation 3 months too long. So fast forward, maybe about a week later, I get a text message because, you know, at this point, homeboy number was deleted. Pictures was gone. Like, I really wish I'm gonna try to find a picture for this cover art or something reminiscent of this situation. But I got a text message and it was like, I miss you. And I already knew who it was from, because I told y'all, crazy niggas don't stop right there. They don't stop where they become unhinged. It carries over. It's never over right there. So I think I just was like, because I did reply. I was like, I think I just said, like, you need help. And then it became, or I think I might have said something like, we don't need to be together or something like that. And he was like, and this is how abusers infiltrate. This is how they manipulate. He was like, you know, I have anger problems. I want, you know, you supposed to help me get some help. You gonna give up on me like everybody else. Abuser 101. Make you feel bad for them. Make you feel guilty because you're leaving them while they have shit that they need to work through, and you should be responsible for helping them work through it. Absolutely not. Not up in here. So, yeah, I think I probably just left it at you need help, and there was no further conversation. But the irony in this situation is, I feel like maybe a few years ago, I told this story on my Snapchat. And I had a friend from college reach out and tell me that she knew exactly who I was talking about. That she had dealt with or dated him sometime during our freshman year. And he exhibited a lot of the same behavior. Like, to the point where she knew who I was talking about. Then, fast forward, when I was in grad school, I was doing a group therapy class. Now, in my grad school cohort, there ain't a lot of black people. But there was one other black girl. No, there might have been two. But there was one other black girl in my group therapy class. And in that class, we had to create a timeline of pretty much the most significant things that stand out to us. Whether that be traumatic, whether that be things that meant a lot to us or whatever. And each week, one of us took a turn going through our timeline in front of the class. And, of course, this was somewhere on my timeline. And she spoke of an experience on her timeline about a guy she dated in high school. And he was abusive to her. Like, forced her to do very uncomfortable and inappropriate things. And come to find out, again, parts of my memories be missing. We ended up finding out it was the same man. Don't remember how we made the connection? Same man. Same man. And he terrorized her when she was in high school. So I didn't even get the most severe part of it, okay? But it was severe enough for it to go on my timeline, and what she experienced was bad enough where, like, it had traumatized her in a sense. Same guy. So, what to take from this story, ladies and gentlemen? You know, just don't make excuses. Do not make excuses for things and behavior and characteristics that you know are not okay. You know, I understand that sometimes we need validation because we don't want to feel like we're making the wrong decision or the wrong choice. However, we have an instinct. We have a gut. You know what I mean? And so whenever something does not sit right with you, we can't ignore that because it doesn't get better. Whenever something don't sit right with you and you continue to engage or be a part of it, you notice that feeling don't go away. You don't feel that relief, that freedom, that until after you're out of it. You know, so I think that's the biggest part of what I wanted to send. The message I wanted to send home with Domestic Violence Awareness Month is like all of these very early things that kind of show up. But even when somebody has that mask on, they can't fully hide it. There are always little things that kind of show up. And depending on where your self-esteem is, what you believe you deserve, you know, do you got your love goggles on? So you only looking at the best parts of the person and not the things that you need to really consider? Like, I ask my clients when they start dating somebody new, when they telling me all the beautiful and great things, hate to be a Debbie Downer, but do you have any concerns?
And they be like, well, because we need to explore that. I just had a client that said she ended up having to cut off this girl she was dealing with because the stuff that she was concerned about, it just got worse. It started to get worse. And she knew, because we've been doing work on that, like, okay, I got to get the fuck. Because you're going to end up being a trigger for me. And I was so proud. Because essentially, like, we can't, as much as we may love the great parts of a person, we can't ignore those bad parts. So we have to take the concerns that we have seriously. And that's really the only message that I have, is to be more mindful of allowing yourself to become so invested in a person. Like, because 3 months was very quick for me to become, for us to be so invested in one another, number one. For me to feel so I started to feel responsible for him. You know what I mean? Like, like his well-being started to become a part of my responsibility, because I felt that he had less than, and I wanted to be able to provide that for him. So a part of what I've had to do within myself is to figure out, like, number one, I have to explore the part of me that wants to give, because sometimes I know I give out of ego, out of pride, as far as like wanting somebody to be able to, how can I describe this? To be able to brag about me and what I've done for them. If that makes sense. Knowing, like, I did, like, yes, it's great that I love to do nice things for people, but I also like the fact that, like, Brittany showed that. Like, I like that. A part of me likes that response. So, like, I've had to do my own internal work as far as, like, why I give to certain people, what I'm looking for when I give to certain people. Because, again, I never saw them earrings. So now I have to, like, when I take L's on gift giving, you know, I just have to be in a place of knowing that, like, they needed it more than me, or they didn't have it, or like God will bless me later, you know, all things like that. But there are reasons why we deal with certain things. There are reasons why we put up with certain behavior. And so you want to really have an understanding. Don't run from trying to understand why you do that, because that leads us to the answers. That leads us to being able to do better in the future. Okay, maybe this ending was better than the ending that I originally had. So let me get this video edited so y'all can see it. All right, I hope everybody took something from this. And yeah, have a good rest of y'all day. Okay, I know I said I was done, but I was able, this is why I don't delete threads, especially with my girlfriends, because there be so much stuff in there. I was able to find the string of messages that were sent to me after the huge blow up, and I just had to share the exact words so y'all can really understand what abuser language sounds like. Okay, make this quick. So I told y'all he texted me that he missed me, right? So I was like, who is this? And because that's what I told y'all he going back. And I was like, I have nothing to say to you. And he was like, babe, stop being like that, I'm sorry. I said, you called me a bitch and said you hope I die in a car crash. We're done. I forgot that he told me he hoped I died on my way to Chicago, in addition to calling me a burnt black bitch. He was like, I never said that. I said, so now you're lying about what you said? Bye. He said, Brittany, I never said I wanted you to die. I love you, baby. Please stop. I said, we might be able to be friends one day, but being together is not an option. He said, Brittany, you're over-exaggerating. You were wrong too. At least I can admit it. Maybe you're right. You'll always have to be the one to be right about everything. You can never compromise. Gaslighting. Didn't we talk about that in the last video? Now I'm over-exaggerating. Now I have some fault to take in this situation when I've done nothing wrong. I said, bye. He said, I love you and I made a mistake. I really miss you, baby. I would never speak to you like that again. That wasn't me and I flipped out. Maybe I do need help like you say. I just don't want to be without you, baby. Can you hear me out? For real, why are you acting like that? So now we start to see it's going from being apologetic to agitated, right? And then no accountability. That wasn't me. I flipped out. So then he starts sending pictures of us together. Abuser one-on-one, to make you try to think of the good times, you know. So, okay. So then 2 days later, like this is over a span of a few days. I'm looking at the dates. And first messages was like the 28th of January. Now we're on the 30th. He says, why won't you pick up for me, Britt? Can you at least call me
Can you call me at least so I can talk to you one last time and apologize regardless? Please, baby, can you at least give me that if you ever loved me, baby? Didn't I tell y'all niggas to sit there and be like, if you loved me? Hold on. This screenshot was blurry. So the next set of message said, baby, please give me a chance. Brittany, I have a problem. I have things, I guess, typos. I have things I need medicine for. I didn't mean it, baby, please. Then he was like, you calling, we'll call him M. M is the guy who I told you was the pastor. He was like, you calling M? If you want to leave me, if you want me to leave you alone, I get it, Britt. You don't gotta go trying to embarrass me though. How am I embarrassing you with your own actions? All right. Next day, this is another day. I love you, baby, please. I need you. I can't live without you, babe. Don't do me like this. Go back to where I was at. Again, send in more pictures of us together. Why won't you pick up for me, Britt? So then, because of course, if somebody can't reach you by trying to beg, then they'll try to throw out something else. I don't even know if I believe this. So then he texts me. I don't know if this was the same day or a different day. I just got some really bad news. I wish you were here to talk to me. You can't even respond. So me being an empath, I'm like, what's wrong? He like, my grandfather passed away randomly this morning. I said, I'm sorry for your loss and your family will be in my prayers. He said, I was supposed to call him a few days ago and I just never got around to it. And I said, well, he knows you love him, so that's what matters. Here we go back into our shit. I really miss you. Do you hate me this much? I said, I don't hate you. I just don't want to be with you. He was like, why? I said, because I no longer respect you as a man. He said, how can you say that? I said, because I don't respect any person who disrespects me. He said, it takes two to argue, and I felt you disrespected me too, Brittany. A man wouldn't have apologized. Never did anything to disrespect this man the way he disrespected me. He said, or a man wouldn't have apologized or recognized that I need to maybe seek help with my issues. You won't even give me a chance to talk to you. I said, the content of my messages were never disrespectful. You had no reason to say what you did. At that very moment, you became less of a man to me. I'm not going to go back and forth with you. I've said all I needed to say. You're not safe for me. Then he says, that shit was not me. I didn't mean none of it. I seriously blacked out on the person I love the most, and I'm sorry. You taking this shit to the next level, and it's not fair. How am I not safe for you all of a sudden after spending every waking moment with you so long? Again, 3 months. I said, no one, including M, thinks that you are unhealthy, thinks that you are healthy or safe for me. I've already started getting over you. There's no turning back. It's over. That's it. He said, I understand you're upset with me, but I fucked up this one time major, and I lost the best thing in my life. I'm fucking bipolar. That wasn't me, Brittany. I'm still the same. Again, another typo. Man who would have, I'm still the same. Man would never do that. I never cheated on you. Niggas do way worse. So I told y'all that man tried to lie and say he cheated on me when I was in Cape Town. Like, now you saying you ain't cheated on me. Like, who knows what to believe? And now you're sitting here comparing what's worse. Oh, and that's what I told y'all. Somebody who don't hit you will sit there and be like, well, at least I don't hit you, but they're still abusive. It's classic abusive behavior. And then he was like, including M, why are you throwing M into this? I said, to know that I'm not just throwing things out of proportion. He said, M doesn't want you calling him and told me to stop talking to you before. What do you mean? And I said, never mind, bye. He was like, we had one big fight. Another nigga got a chick pregnant, but you, I'm sorry. You know when you take pictures on iPhone and you move too fast and then all of a sudden you can't see it no more, it gets blurry. Let me find that message. Okay. He said, we had one big fight. Another nigga got another chick pregnant, but you want to do me like this. I don't even know what he was referring to. I'm fighting to get you back and trying to fix this shit. If you love me, how can you block me out and try to tell me what someone else's opinion is when they weren't in this relationship? It's fucked up. You know how good I treated you. That's what you told people, and that's why you were with me. Then we fight, and you want to go around showing everyone our text like a child when it's none of their business. An abuser never wants people to know their true colors. They never want people to know how they really get down. He said, you let people form an opinion on me based off that moment. What about everything else and every other moment? I told you I'm bipolar and I black out and you said you wouldn't leave me. The nigga never told me he was bipolar. Never told me he had a history of blacking out. And I never said that I wouldn't leave him if he did that shit. So, a lie. He said, I dealt with your issues as well. And you told me you love me for not leaving you, Brittany. You abandoned me and don't even give me a fucking chance after how you acted before. And I put up with that shit. I see you're not a woman. I can put up with your issues as flaws, but you can't deal with mine, yet you love me. Again, all of a sudden you go from very apologetic to angry and agitated. No, sir. He said, I'm sure you won't respond to the truth, though. You do what everybody else tells you when you know I love you. He said, you told him I know where your car is as if I would harm you or your car too. How can you say some shit like that? You really are crazy. If I wanted to get to you, I could easily. Now, if that shit ain't scary, I don't know what is. And pretty much what he's referring to is I told him that, like, this man knows where I live. He knows what my car looks like. He could do anything to try to get back at me because I don't want to be with him anymore. So then he said, I should have listened to my bro and realized you're just a materialistic, self-consumed gold digger. Your love was fake. Everything about you was fake. You just care if a nigga is spending money on you. You'll regret how you did me, though. Bye. I told y'all what, I got a couple meals out there, man. He never bought me shit. So now I'm a gold digger. So that's the end of that thread. But I just had to read y'all the messages to really just send home my message that these niggas are crazy. Okay? That's it. I'm going to just leave that there. Because I said all I need to say. The messages said what they needed to say. Ladies, run. You get some shit like that, run. Because they are in, like, do you see the gaslighting? Do you see the manipulation of trying to convince me that I'm wrong for thinking about my betterment? Okay? That's it. I'm really done now. Y'all have a good one.